in a week that has actually seen Samuel Techi actually, getting off from the amateur ranks and now going full professional. Not that he wasn't professional, but now he decided to concentrate fully with his professional career. And guess what? He signs with Streetwise Management. And if you're talking about Streetwise Management, then definitely you are also talking about the fact that you are going to have him as well being managed by Louis DeBella. Yes, the great Louis DeBella with DeBella Entertainment. So that's really, really big there. Of course, Inoue also won against his counterpart Neri in all the way Japan. Yes, Japan is also hosting boxing. So that should tell you, Ghana, we should be hosting international bouts here. But without much ado, I have my guest already seated. Yes, Yaw Sakyi Afari, very known boxing guru, media personality. He's been there for age long. He used to be with Choice FM. He's the owner and CEO of Right Sports Media. Indeed, he's also the manager of Azumah Nelson. He's well equipped when it comes to sports, as it were, and management and business. Tonight, he's our guest, and we have him, and I'll be introducing him very, very soon, as it were. Let me just run you through what we're going to be talking about. We definitely going to be talking about the just ended the exhibition bout between Azumah Nelson and EU Commissioner, Razari. And we'll also be talking about Azumah Nelson's promotions as well. He's been a bit defunct. We don't know what's happening in that regard, but we know that Azumah Nelson's promotion actually comes with some panache and finesse. So yes, tonight we have a plethora of knowledge to be shared on this platform by the great Yaw Sakyi Afari. Without much ado, let me just introduce him right away. So yes, that's my most senior Yaw Sakyi Afari. Many thanks for joining us on this platform, sir.
Thank you, Sammy. It's my picture a bit clearer?
Yeah. Well, we can see your face. That's. I think we can work with that. See me. Yeah, we can really
I told you.
You're very handsome face.
So I'm somewhere, so I had to quickly come into my car to pick up the call.
Oh, that's great. That's really great. I won't miss words. I will just go straight to my point. First of all, tell us about Diplo Rumble. How did it come about? What's the reason behind that?
Okay, so Sammy, thank you for the opportunity, and greetings to your viewers. So Diplo Rumble was an activity put together by the European Union office in Ghana. Now, this was part of their European Union month. So this month, they have a series of activities, something they do every year. This year, they decided to add boxing to it. And being a maiden edition of the boxing event, they needed something that would, get people's attention, more like a pool. So they reached out to us. They were doing this with the Boxing Federation, the amateur federation, but they still needed, something that will get people's attention onto the event. So they reached out, and the ambassador expressed his desire to stage an exhibition bout with Azumah. So let's keep in mind, contrary to what people thought, he is not a boxer. He loves boxing. He has a coach he trains with. And so I think that because of how we shot the trailer or we shot the promo, people thought it was going to be, physical. No, not at all. It was just a joy for him to be in the ring with Azumah. Azumah felt that it was an opportunity to give back to these young people, because the objective of the Diplo Rumble was to throw more spotlight on boxing in Bukom and to empower young people through sports. And so that's why we jumped on it. And so prior to that, I had gotten the two gentlemen to rehearse, so to speak. They were in Azumah's house, and if you watched the bout, Azumah did not throw one punch, because the idea was that you don't have to touch him. You don't have to touch the ambassador. Jokingly, I told the ambassador, as ambassador, there's a need for us to rehearse because the event is on Saturday. I don't want publication on the front page of Daily Graphic, Azumah kills an ambassador. I said, we have too many problems in Ghana, and we don't want to add that also to our problems. So there's a need for us to rehearse. He laughed at it, but he said it was important. So there were two rehearsals, and at least, they got it. And throughout the three rounder, Azumah didn't throw a punch. He was just dodging. He would throw, Azumah would dodge. Block, and at the end of the day, we had fun. I could see a few people were disappointed. They wanted Azumah to beat the guy, and I said no. It was going to defeat the purpose. Okay, I mean, Sammy,
Mm.
think about it. We had such a great event, and with a lot of ambassadors there, only for Azumah to
Mm.
hit this guy. He ends up at Kolebu. Then what? Then what? You understand? And Kolebu is
Yeah,
very
that's
close. Then what? It spoils the
mm.
whole beauty of it. But it was the way it was staged. Once Azuma was coming to the ring, they were playing the song Asembiriba, Asembiriba. And for the old people there, it reminded them of, Jeff Fennick
the
too.
Azumah of yesteryears.
And so they thought that, man, this is gonna be a crazy fight. But it
Mm.
was for the beauty of it. It was just to Azuma using the opportunity to encourage young boxers to work hard, stay disciplined, fear God, respect their coaches, and then stay focused so they can also become great like him. And so yeah, so
Would
that's what happened. It
mm.
wasn't our event; it was the EU event, but we're happy to be a part of it.
Would you say it achieved its purpose? I mean, from the European Union standpoint and from your standpoint as well.
It did. It did. Like I said, we sold out the venue. It was actually supposed to be free, but later on, the Boxing Federation felt that they could charge some 5 Ghana cedis to support the boxers, which we agreed. Azuma didn't do this for money, just for the love of the sport, and also to use the opportunity to encourage the young ones. And it felt good for him, walking back into the ring after 15 years. Remember the last time he had an exhibition bout um, was in 2008 when he was 50
Mm.
with Jeff Fennick. And even that is a backstory. Jeff Fennick had called Azuma a month to that bout, saying that he want them to stage an exhibition to support Azuma's foundation called the Azumah Nelson Foundation. Azuma was quite impressed. I said, "Oh, wow, that's quite thoughtful of you. So when? So we can do it in a month's time. There's a promotion going on, so we can take advantage of it." Little did Azuma know that Jeff Fennick had a fight with somebody, and the person pulled out, last minute, and so he needed a worthy opponent. And in Australia, Jeff Fennick and Azuma made such a huge history there, and so he felt that it
Yeah,
was an
that's true.
opportunity to redeem himself. The embarrassment that he suffered in 1992, and so Azuma went there, hoping that, oh wow, Jeff Fennick was, thought about me. He wants us to raise money to support my foundation. An amount was agreed on. He went there, had a press conference. He said to the people at the pressmen that, oh, this is something to support my foundation. So I'm going to be nice. Round one, the guy is jabbing him. The guy is punching him. He's thinking, okay, this is supposed to be an exhibition, fun thing, but what's going on?
Mm.
In his head, well, if a few punches to get support from our foundation is worth it. Guess what? Exhibition matches, most of them, if it's properly for charity cause, will end in a draw. After the bout, the referee declared victory for Jeff Fennick. And Azuma was like, okay, no problem. If that's what will help you sleep at night, then that's fair. Guess what? Even the money that was promised him didn't happen. So for him, 16 years down the line, it felt good to walk back into the ring for a good cause. And the cause is, like I mentioned, empowering young people through sports. He thought he needed the opportunity, to join forces with the EU to be able to empower these young people, talk to them about how they can attain greatness. And for us, it was a huge success seeing the thousands of people who came out, on the night, and the number of diplomatic community also there. It was good for us, and we will welcome such an opportunity again.
Yeah, not to change the subject, but are you actually saying that Jeff Fennick wasn't totally honest with regards to that encounter between himself and Azuma, leading Azuma to
That's
believe that it was just for
Yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened. He wasn't
wow.
completely honest, and that caused, that created a certain friction, between him and Jeff Fennick to date. You can quote me on this. Even though he felt that, listen, if he thought he was smart, he leave it to God. He didn't pursue it. No legal action. Azuma, everything is it's cool.
Yeah.
You feel like you've cheated him, you can go away with it. But he feels that it's not good to cheat people, and so you pay the price later. But for him, it's okay. Yeah, so that's what happened. He made it look
Wow.
like they were doing an exhibition to support Azuma's foundation, but that was a lie.
Well, so you heard it here, live and exclusive. Of course, this is the biggest boxing platform. And of course, my friend from South Africa already asking questions. He says, EU always has an agenda behind everything they do. I hope it's not one of those. Anyway, I don't know if it's a question or a contribution, but I'll leave it to the discretion of Yaw. But Yaw, what is next after the Pro Rumble?
Well, so sometime next month we'll be announcing the Zoom Zoom Clinic. Azuma is embarking on a 4 regional tour. To The Zoom Zoom Clinic is a mentoring and boxing clinic. Azuma feels that boxing is just concentrated in Accra, and but if you look at the history of boxing in Ghana, Nanayao Kredu was not, he's not from Accra, he's from Sunyani. It means that there are a lot of boxers. Once we promote them in the other regions, we'll be able to get some champions from there. So we'll be going to Takrade, Tamale, Kumasi, a few other places to do a mentoring and boxing clinic. And then we're also thinking that this will throw more spotlight on the development of the sport. But for Azuma, it's not just turning all these thousands of kids who will turn out, for the clinic. It's just seizing the opportunity to talk to them about being responsible kids, taking their book seriously, being respectful, being God fearing, working hard in school, and in all the good things that kids should exhibit. That's what he's seeking to do. His birthday is in July, so you can definitely expect, Azumah Nelson boxing night, Azumah Nelson fight night, to celebrate his 66th, birthday as well. So that's also in the works. The few other things that we're doing, I know you mentioned the Azumah Nelson fight night. Yeah, we took a break a bit because, Azuma is all about perfection. And sometimes when we don't have like great fights during our events, it bothers him because he feels that, look, he's got big boys who will come and sit, and he wants to present some very good fights, good boxing to them. And so if it doesn't go as planned, then he's disappointed, and he will say, you know what, until we get very good boxers to fight, then there's no point, staging the event. But um some things are going to happen this year, and I'm sure your platform will be one of the places that we're going to break the story.
Most definitely, most definitely. Yeah, there's a lot of questions here, but some of them I think that you've already answered it. So Charles is actually asked what happened to Azumah Nelson's boxing fight night. Okay, I guess that's what he's trying to say. Ask yeah, for me, what has been his biggest obstacle as far as the sport of boxing is concerned? Is Azumah Nelson's fight night dead? Okay, so yeah. Would you want to take those questions in a bounce? Um,
Yeah, so
Keep
so
your questions coming as well, and leave it.
Zuma Nelson as a
Yeah,
Zuma
go ahead.
Nelson fight night dead. I think I already answered that.
Okay, that,
We
yeah.
were quite active a couple of years ago, but the whole of last year, probably maybe we are in 20. So obviously 2020 because of COVID, and 2021 we didn't do anything, but we came back to stage an event, and since then we haven't really been active. And I did answer that. He was quite troubled
Mm.
with a few fights that were on the bill, and he felt that it didn't meet his expectation. So he asked that we put a break on it. But after the clinic that we are going to organize, there are some things planned for his birthday in July, and then others before the end of the year. So people should continue to monitor the page Azuma Nelson Fight Night. In fact, Azuma Nelson boxing promotions on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter, and they're going to get the updates.
So this is actually from an MP. I just groused over it, but he says, "What has been your biggest obstacle as far as the sport of boxing is concerned?" Narrow it to Ghana, though. He
So
normally
for
doesn't
me,
want my name. His name to be known. Yeah.
so for me,
Mm. Go ahead.
for people who have really followed, for those who have followed my career, I'm more into basketball promotion. Me and boxing is because of
Yes.
Azumah, because I manage Azumah Nelson. So any asset,
Mm.
anything Azumah is concerned, then I have to be involved. I think that by far, it's more of in discipline. He talks about it all the time. He feels that we have a lot of champions in this country, and sometimes he wishes that these young boxers were as disciplined as he was, because he keeps saying they all want to be champions, but are they ready to pay the price? The price is, it's being disciplined. The price is being staying, focused on your training, regimen. So if, for instance, you're supposed to be up at 4 a.m. every day, go on the road, go jogging, come back, stay off alcohol, don't engage in drugs. All those things that he didn't do that made him a champion. He's always asking whether these kids really want to be champions, because if you want to be a champion, you will not be seen fighting in the street. You're a boxer, you need to stay professional, and if you're given time to report for a press conference, he's expecting you to be there on time. If you're supposed to be at an event, he's expecting you to be on time, because he always uses himself as the benchmark. Because if he's become the reference point for boxing in Africa, then he's expecting them to do the things he did, that he became a champion and stayed a champion for a very long time. And so sometimes it can be very frustrating when he's expecting these kids to have a certain mindset and they don't have. And so for me, it becomes one of my biggest headache, because when he's stressed, then obviously things are not working. And you know, he's expecting so much. He has so much expectation, because he tells me, say, yeah, we have too many champions in Ghana. He said, when you go to Bukum, these kids are strong. It just needs proper mentoring, proper guidance. They stay in discipline, and we're going to produce a lot of champions. So for me, the biggest headache, or the biggest obstacle, it's it's the boxer's ability to stay professional and stay disciplined, and be able to live up to expectation of a legend who wants to see more champions come out of Ghana. I don't know if you understand the point I'm making.
I do. I totally understand it. As a matter of fact, I have a follow up on that. What is Azuma doing in his own small corner to make sure that this is realized? Because like he is very much well vexed, well baked. So one would have expected that he takes, the initiative so that others will follow.
So, Azuma has a gym in his house. There are people who come there and train privately with him. There are kids, but he doesn't have an academy. Yeah, usually we don't have an academy where every day there are kids there. No, but he visits the academies. He sees what they're doing. There are a lot of academies. Okay, so he doesn't need to create one. It would be nice for him to have one, but he doesn't see the need to want to have his own academy, where when he can visit the other academies and see what you're doing, and offer guidance and tell them, now do this, do that, and avail himself as and when people need him to come and inspire the young people. So that's what he's doing. He's playing more of the fatherly role, where he avails himself to every academy, any gym, that needs his services, he can come and talk to. But at the end of the day, it rests on the boxer. Okay, you can train with the best coach in football, but if you're not disciplined, you go nowhere. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's about the personal commitment to want to be great, and that's what he always says. You want to be great. Are you ready to pay the price for it? Are you ready to sleep on time? Take good care of your body. Eat well. Avoid junk food. And if you don't have to do some things, you don't have to do it. Are you ready to do that? And something I've noticed about him, because he's such a perfectionist, when you don't do that, then he won't take you serious. All right, he doesn't take you serious, and if he doesn't take you serious, then you lose him. You don't get his attention anymore, because he feels that he's looking to work with people who are serious. He was serious. That's why his coaches took him serious, and that's why he became who he is today. So if he's giving it to you for free and he doesn't charge people when they come, if he's giving his time, he's giving his knowledge to you for free, and you're not serious, he won't mind you again.
Okay, so Sean Blanda is actually asking. So I mean, I have a project in Ghana, and kindly ask him for me whether he will be able to assist in that aspect. I don't know if you can come up better, whether you want him to assist or you want Azumah to assist. So Sean, I rather you really come clarity with your message. I know that your number shows that you are actually from here in the USA. So yeah, so kindly just retype your message again. I'll relay it to John Yaw. But Yaw, let me be quick on this one. For many promoters, staging about in Ghana, cost wise, it doesn't make sense. That's how come you don't see so many promotional outfits and stuff. Is it same with your promotional outfit?
Yeah, it's the ability to package your event well, but that's the truth. The biggest venue now is the Bukom Boxing Arena. They are charging you thousands of Ghana cedis, okay, and that excludes. Fortunately, you don't have to rent chairs, but that excludes, security. If you want to do a VIP area, you get more additional tables and chairs, branding, and the cost of promotion. It makes it very expensive. And for where the Bukom Boxing Arena is located, majority of them will come from Bukom because that's like the hub of boxing. And you can't charge them, you can't charge 200, 300. You charge something meager. And you have a lot of them also scale the wall to come inside. And some also will fight with the police people and walk in for free. And so at the end of the day, if you don't have good sponsorship, then you'll always run at a loss. And you're paying the boxers, you're paying the boxing association, you're paying your matchmaker. It's very expensive to stage a promotion, especially if you want to do it and do it well, And so it's the reason why it accounts for the very little promotions we see in Accra. For us, maybe because of Azumah's, pedigree and credibility, we've always attracted some good, sponsorship, and we're always good to go. For me, like I mentioned, Azumah's challenge has got to do with the quality of boxing and how he doesn't feel comfortable when he brings in top CEOs and things to come and sit. And, sometimes the boxers are as if Charlie, sure, they are playing and he's not comfortable. And so, um, back to your question, cost of promotion, cost of organizing, boxing promotion is expensive. I don't know what can be done about it because you are not going to ask the boxers to come and fight for free, and then you're also not going to tell the Bukom Boxing Arena to say give it to us for free, because they will also tell you how they need money to run the facility. So it's tough until we begin to see some real investment in boxing, i.e., maybe at the government level, or and when I say the government level, probably maybe let's say the sports ministry directing some key companies, be GMPC, BMP, or whatever, to throw in money into the development of boxing, in return for something, something would have to come up so that, accredited boxing promoters can get some funding from these people, all the time, so that they'll be able to stage these events.
Okay, so so Sean Blanda is actually saying I'm contemplating on putting up a boxing academy. Will I be able to count on their support and help? Okay, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, like
Okay,
I mentioned, Champ has always availed himself. Show the seriousness, because if you give Champ, look, one of the problems, it's not a problem. One of the challenges I have with Champ, if we have a meeting at 7, okay, and as the manager, I get there at 6:45. Champ is there at 6 o'clock, so he always put pressure on me, okay, because he's always ahead of me, and if you have an academy and you give him time that you need him to pass by, you give him 5, he's there at 4. We get at 4:30, and you guys are not there. He leaves and you don't get his attention anymore. So for me, I always say to people, and he's not going to charge you for it, okay, because it's boxing. He's excited about helping young people develop. So if you want to come to Champ for support, then come well, okay, come well. Else, then you are going to lose its interest, and then that's it.
Okay, so this one says, I like Yaw Sakyi. I mean, I've loved him since his days at Choice FM. I think he's a smart business person. He should be contemplating on going for the GBA president. I think he can make a better impact there. And once again, this is a very big man. I don't. He doesn't want his name to be mentioned, and sometimes it's very difficult when these people with and they go like, "Sammy, don't mention my name." Anyway, but yeah, do you have any plans of standing for the GBA president in order to make these changes, these problems that you just...
Look, it's never crossed my mind. Okay, it's never crossed my mind. It's never come to me. For those in basketball know, for many years I've been approached to run for the chairmanship or the presidency of the Ghana Basketball Association, and I also say to them, I can make a difference without being the president. Okay, we're having this conversation because for the past close to 15 years, people know the work I've done with Azumah Nelson. Okay, I started working with Azumah in 2010 when he's retired. But see the things we have done: books, travel, all over the place, school tours. So I don't need to be president to make a difference. People will also argue that if you are in charge, if you're the man, in charge, then you can make things better. I get that. If you're the president of the country, you have the power to be able to make a difference in people's life. I get that, but you can also make a difference in the lives of people without being the president of the country. So I mean, I'm always open to sharing ideas how we can improve, boxing development in this country, and so that's a conversation I always welcome.
Okay, so when is the next Azumah? I think he's answered that. He said that would be on Azumah Nelson's birthday. So I'm not even gonna ask that question. Okay. So thanks of them. Keep them actually keep them coming. I'll read all of them in a bounce. But yeah, let me ask you this, just so so you've followed Azumah. You've talked about and normally I do these things, especially when I want to like get a better perspective, because with this show I put in like it's almost like a business plan. Whatever you say, we put all of them together in a docket form. We send it sometimes to the GBA, the people concerned. Yeah, I'm gonna ask you a series of it. Like, first of all, the president. You've been in boxing for a while. You understand the intricacies, the problems, and all that. What do you think that the ministries can do to help promoters or even boxers? And I'm going to run you through all these stakeholders one by one so that we actually put your answers all together in a document form. So let's start with the ministries. What are the things that you've actually seen, or you think that should they come to the aid or do, probably will improve boxing in Ghana?
So first of all, the ministry has some funding for sports. Okay, they are supposed to take care of all sports, not just football. But we know it's been the tradition. It's all football, because what is the heartbeat of the nation, right? Um, so for Ministry of Sports, it's a no-brainer. If we're able to get some allocation for the boxing federation or the boxing association, that will be helpful. Okay, and for promoters, if we are able to work out, because there's a certain policy that companies that support sports development and promotion, they get some tax reliefs. If that is properly done, then I don't see why companies will not throw money into the development of boxing. Why? Because they will get some tax breaks for that. But over the period, it appears that hasn't really worked out well. And so people will give money purely based on what they can get back. So for instance, if you're going to go to, let's say, a Coca-Cola company is looking at, okay, what numbers are you attracting? How much are you charging? Can we do a tie-in? What sort of benefits beyond, just the publicity I mentioned on radio and TV? Now they are more critical in terms of the investment, that whatever they're giving you, what are they getting back? But for a company like, let's say, GMPC, if the ministry has an arrangement with GMPC to say, look, for the next 5 years, can you allocate $1 million for the development of boxing? Okay, GMPC doesn't look out for those kind of benefits that Coca-Cola will look for. When Coca-Cola is looking for mentions and how many bottles they can sell, GMPC is not selling anything, and it's easy for them to make allocation for it. So it requires a lot of stakeholder engagement. The ministry leading that charge and getting the boxing federation to say, okay, this is what we've been able to negotiate for you. Gapoha, uh, GMPC, MPA, all the big, Cocoa Board, etc., etc. And once that is done, there is money that flows into the accredited or the licensed promoters, registered with the boxing federation or the boxing association. That every year 1 million comes in. There are 20 promoters. Each is getting 50,000, 100,000 to support. It will bring a big relief, for the promoters, and that could go into paying for the venue for them. That could go into helping with some printed materials, yada yada yada, and I'm sure it's going to bring a relief, and we'll see a lot of promotions in that area.
Okay, so this is actually coming from a minister. He says, I mean, I told you, this guy is well versed when it comes to business. I think that should he go for the GBA president, he will make better impact. Okay, and he doesn't want his name to be mentioned. He's a whole minister. Well, thank you. But we just been joined by Donu. Prince Donu Leku, Donu's corner. He's my co-host tonight. Donu, do you have any questions you want to relate to Yaw before I proceed with mine? I think that we've virtually eaten to his time.
Don't ask any questions. Don't you'll be asking all the questions all the time when you see me, so don't ask any questions.
Oh, basically, we should just be happy that that we saw the prof himself back in action. But many people are asking, can we do more of this in the in the long term? Maybe occasionally, when he gets to his birthday, maybe Boxing Day in the year, so that he can use it to raise funds for certain charity he can, take on and, do. We know he's doing a lot in one way or the other already. And he is blessed to have, as you already some of the biggest companies behind him, like Goyle and the rest. So you can do more of these things. And I think, it's a step in a good direction. Maybe a situation where we will see him put up a real fight.
You want him to kill somebody, Abi? You want him to kill somebody?
No. He's not going to kill anybody.
I was explaining earlier before you joined us. I said, don't you see how beautiful the event was? After the event, both of them went, changed, came to sit down to enjoy the other bout, Freezing McBones and then the kids. But don't think about it. You were there. Imagine, Charlie, one blow beat to the ambassador's rib, and then they have to rush him to Kolebu. Then what? Then the event will end. Somebody, remember, it's an EU event, too. Somebody has invited you to his party. You come and hurt him, and then they take him to hospital. Then what? What do we get? So for me, but I understand what you're saying. I think that the first point you made, more of this, to raise funds for other charity events, I think is something that I welcome, and I think something that you'll be excited about. And so, like I mentioned to Sammy before you joined us, we have some regional tour, mentoring and boxing clinic, and from that, I'm sure we could add some of the suggestions that you've just submitted right now.
And I don't know if you've spoken about Dalvin yet, but many people.
Oh my goodness, Dalvin! So Dalvin won his bouts, and Dalvin, Sammy, it's Azumah's son. Who was such a promising boxer. Azumah gave a very, very good explanation. I remember one time we were on Joy FM, and the presenter Nelson asked him whether he thinks that his son can be like him. And this was how he explained his response. He said, when he was a child, okay, it was tough for him to eat. So he will go sell coconuts, go sell bottles to be able to feed himself and support his family. And so boxing became like an outlet, an opportunity to get himself out of poverty and to be able to support his family. And so he gave boxing all his all his best. It was just the only way out of poverty. And he said to Kojo Yankson, he said, Kojo Yankson, but think about it, my son, when he was a child, when he's going to school, there is a car that takes him, car waits, brings him from school. I struggle to eat, but him, I have to beg eat food. I have to